you've said something in a few articles that I've been reading about this idea of that our job is to create motion, and through motion comes emotion. Can you just talk a little more about this idea of motion and emotion?
Yeah, the simplest way of talking about it is looking at nursery rhymes. Um, Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by the toe. There's two more lines coming, uh, but we're not feeling like, oh my God, keep going, keep going. I feel so unsettled uh, uh, because they're evenly matched lines, repetitive rhythms, and they rhyme. Uh, and then we contrast that with Mary had a little lamb, fleece was white as snow. And now we've got to move. And why do we have to move? Well, we have a longer line, a 4-stress line, Mary had a little lamb, and a 3-stress line, fleece was white as snow. That says, let's go, let's go, let's go. And so where you put it has emotional consequences. Uh, and if you put that short line after the long line, there are emotional consequences. And the consequences are, I got to keep going. I feel so unstable. Whereas if you put an equal length line and with a repetitive rhythm, then you're just fine.
Mm.
We are in the business of creating motion, and the motion that we create is going to create a feeling, and the feeling will either be something like yes, or it'll be like oh, and we use those. We use that kind of motion uh, uh, to as a film score, so that 4 in the morning, crapped out, yawning, longing my life away. I'll never worry. Why should I? It's all gonna fade. So that shortened fourth line, it could have been 4 in the morning, crapped out, yawning, longing my life away. I'll never worry. Why should I? It's all gonna fade someday. And when you match the second and the fourth line, then it feels like, yeah, I'm just saying, first the pain and then you die. Quit whining, get over it. But when you say 4 in the morning, crapped out, yawning, longing my life away, I'll never worry. Why should I? It's all gonna fade. And it's like, oh, I want more. I want more.
Exactly.
This is why you're so, this is why you talk so much about stable and unstable elements, because when the writer has control over making the choice of whether or not they want to put a stable or an unstable element in place, they get to then work on constructing this sense of motion.
The opportunity to interview Paul Simon on that specific move, and I asked him if he would elaborate on what he was thinking at the time, and his answer was, it actually was a musical decision that I made. That I had no idea, he said, I had no idea what I was going to say in that bridge. The lyrics always come second for me. But the minute that and this is his word, the minute I truncated that last line, it gave me the feeling that I needed in order to get to what I was going to say in the bridge. Because again, whether you shorten the musical phrase or you shorten the lyric line, whichever goes first, it's going to have consequences on the other side of the table.
And talk about prosody. I mean, I was going to use a musical analogy to describe that feeling of, you've truncated it, and so you create this feeling of forward motion, that we're not finished yet, we're unresolved, we need something more in order to release the tension that's built. And often the example I give when I'm just purely talking about melody with students is like, imagine that I'm on stage and I sing la 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 la. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. hope you have an excellent evening, everyone's gonna leave angry, or unsettled, or frustrated, or disappointed, or unresolved in some way, and it's that sort of musical equivalent of being like, there's more to come, and I've deliberately done that. Or even if it's, again, it's this explicit implicit thing. It's like, even if I haven't explicitly done that, what I have reached for is a feeling of wanting to leave you in a state of tension, because, wait for it, now I'm going to release that tension for you. And it's interesting, I was thinking of that musical analogy with the truncation of that lyric line, but even at a quite literal level, right? All gonna fade, fade. Yeah. It's literal. He's created this beautiful melodic prosody with the lyric structural prosody with the lyric emotional prosody, right? Like, it's all, and isn't that really prosody, right? I think your kind of most succinct definition of prosody when you're talking about it is, it's a unity of elements, right? It's when everything is speaking the same language, and when they do, they amplify each other and ultimately amplify the emotion. Will you talk a little bit more about prosody and how you talk about prosody and even introduce it to your students when they hear it for the first time?
Yeah. Unity is Aristotle's term, actually. My elevator definition of prosody is appropriate relationship between the elements, whatever those elements are.